From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Thursday, August 13th. Here are today's headlines. Lebanon rejects foreign interference. That's what Lebanon's president, Joseph Aoun, said to Iran's new security secretary, Ali Larijani, in a tense meeting in Beirut. It came on the heels of a landmark decision by Lebanon's cabinet to disarm Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran. The National's Jamie Prentis reports from Beirut.
Iran is the foremost backer of Hezbollah. They have a long relationship going back to the 80s. But now the Lebanese government is trying to disarm Hezbollah. The president said that these comments from Iranian officials were unhelpful, and he told Mr. Larijani that Iran must not favor relations with any side or sect, which is a clear reference to the support that Iran has given to Hezbollah.
Speaking after a meeting with Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri, Larijani said Iran urged Lebanon to keep Hezbollah armed, while insisting Tehran did not interfere in Lebanese internal affairs.
Later on, Mr. Larijani would push back, saying that Iran doesn't interfere in Lebanon's affairs. He said that if there was a country which does interfere in Lebanese affairs, it would be the US, which has demanded that Lebanon disarm Hezbollah and put down a timeline to do this by the end of the year.
Hezbollah is a powerful Iran-backed Shiite paramilitary force and political party. It's the only non-state group to hold arms since the Lebanese civil war ended in 1990. It was once the region's most powerful non-state armed group, but it's been heavily weakened after losing its top leadership and much of its arsenal during a war with Israel last year.
So last Tuesday, the Lebanese government said that they would task the army with preparing a plan to disarm Hezbollah by the end of the year. The army has until the end of this month to show that plan. Then on Thursday, in a historic decision, the Lebanese cabinet formally said that it sought to disarm Hezbollah. That was despite the fact that all Shiite ministers stormed out of the meeting before it had ended. Hezbollah, for its part, has rejected these decisions. It said it will treat them as if it doesn't exist. Yet despite that, the president on Wednesday said that Lebanon would push on with its disarmament plan to bring all weapons under state control.
Under U.S. proposals, Israel would fully withdraw from Lebanon in conjunction with the disarmament of Hezbollah. But there is little faith that this will materialize given Israel's conduct in Lebanon, Syria, and elsewhere in the region.
تأتي التهديدات الإسرائيلية المتكررة والتي تمثل انتهاكا واضحا.
Syria and Turkey's foreign ministers have accused Israel of undermining Damascus's rule and fueling sectarian strife. That follows Israel's claims it's protecting the Druze minority in Syria amid violence in the country's south. Syrian Foreign Minister Esad al-Shibani and his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan met in Ankara on Wednesday. Al-Shibani said in a press conference with Fidan, quote, "What is taking place in Syria is being created by Israel. Israel wants sectarian strife to take hold in Syria, but we want peace to prevail in the region," unquote. This as the Syrian government has come under fire for its operation in Sweda.
I mean, Ankara has really come out as one of the main influential foreign powers in Syria since Assad fell.
The National's Lizzie Porter reports.
In this press conference on Wednesday, we saw both the Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and his Syrian counterpart Esad al-Shibani really criticize Israel for trying to sort of sow seeds of disruption and discontent in Syria and try to destabilize it. They point specifically to Sweda and the way that Israel carried out strikes.
Israel carried out airstrikes on Sweda in southern Syria and the Defense Ministry building in central Damascus last month. That was after days of violence between Bedouin tribes, pro-government forces, and members of Syria's Druze community. It's a religious minority deeply embedded in Syria and Israel, as well as Jordan and Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government justified its strikes on grounds that combine national security with protection of the Druze.
That is not the way that Ankara or the government in Damascus say they see the situation. Mr. Shabani, speaking in Ankara, said that the Druze are part of their society, and Israel is bandying around claims that they are going to be shut out of Syrian society. And Shabani said that we do not have such intentions, and that indeed they are really trying to engage in talks with Druze leaders. Turkey has a lot of reasons for wanting Syria to be stable. It shares a long land border. There are many commercial opportunities if Syria succeeds. There are currently around 2.5 million Syrian refugees in Turkey, and Turkey is under a lot of domestic pressure from Turks internally for them to go home. A lot of Turks see their presence as a burden in Turkey. So Ankara wants to create the conditions in Syria for those people to go home. It also has security concerns around the Kurdish militias in northeastern Syria, which Ankara sees as an extension of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, which it views as a terrorist organization.
The U.S. has called on Damascus to join the Abraham Accords, a set of agreements normalizing relations with Israel. Syrian and Israeli officials did meet in the Azerbaijani capital, Baku, but reports of a peace agreement with Israel were, quote, premature, unquote, Syrian state television said last month. Civilian transitional rule in Gaza may last up to a year. That's according to Palestinian businessman Samir Haleila, who spoke to The National and confirmed reports that the U.S. has suggested he govern the territory after the war ends. The broader plan for Gaza, which the Arab League adopted during a summit in Cairo in March, is for a technocratic committee to take over governance for 6 months, with Hamas relinquishing its authority. Haleila said the proposal to have him lead that committee was raised during the Biden administration, before he continued talks with the Trump administration. The National's Nada AlTaher is here with more.
Palestinian businessman Samir Halil's name has been floating around as the next governor of Gaza, and speaking to The National, he did confirm that this was something he says was proposed to him by the U.S. He did say, however, that the conditions are not ripe to make that happen. Right now, there is no ceasefire in Gaza, no stability or security at the moment, and no withdrawal of Israeli troops. Still, he says the upcoming job, if it were to happen, especially in the first phase of it, will be very difficult. The focus in the first 6 months will be on the distribution of aid like food, water, and shelter to 2.2 million Palestinians that need it. And then the focus can turn to rebuilding.
Israel is pressuring Gaza's ceasefire talks by forcing residents to leave and floating the idea of relocating them to African countries. The Associated Press reported that Israel is in talks with South Sudan to host Palestinians from Gaza. South Sudan issued a statement on Wednesday refuting those plans. It said, quote, "These claims are baseless and do not reflect the official position or policy," unquote, of the government. Last week, Israel announced plans to reoccupy Gaza amid renewed efforts to secure a ceasefire in the devastated territory. The Israeli offensive has killed more than 61,000 Palestinians in Gaza since October 2023. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow more of our live coverage at thenationalnews.com. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.